Hi again, everybody. This video is sponsored by Demerol Damsel in Distress. And here's her story. Hi, Ollie. After I kicked the narc out of my house, we were still legally married for a couple of years. I couldn't afford a divorce at the time, and part of me wanted to prevent him from marrying anyone else. He was... Why? Why? Why would you want to prevent him from marrying someone else? But he was mad at me and would email me from time to time, demanding I file for divorce because he had a new source who didn't like the fact that he was technically still married. I told him to go ahead and file for divorce, pay for it because I wasn't going to spend one dime on it. I ignored him 99% of the time. One day I started having severe abdominal pain and thought it might be appendicitis. My mother and a good friend had recently had their appendix out, so I thought maybe that was my problem. I wasn't running a fever, but I went to the emergency room anyway. They took x-rays and told me I needed emergency surgery because I had what they called an incarcerated bowel as a result of a hernia that I didn't know I had. I thought the occasional stitch in my side was caused by carrying a toddler on my hip, up and down 3 flights of stairs every day. They told me if I didn't have surgery, I would be dead in 24 hours from gangrene or sepsis. Meanwhile, my children were in daycare and I had to arrange for my mother to pick them up. The hospital asked me for my next of kin, in other words, my husband. I gave them his name and also my mother's. The surgery was successful and I woke up with an IV of Demerol in my arm and a catheter. I was pretty groggy and doped up. The hospital had informed my estranged narc husband of the surgery. He showed up in my room in the middle of the night. It freaked me out a little, but I was pretty drugged up and didn't have much strength to argue. He laid down next to me on the hospital bed and said I looked beautiful. He pulled down the sheet and pulled up the hospital gown. The surgeon had shaved me. Of course, there was a tube coming out of the incision along with a catheter. He pulled out the catheter and undid his pants. What the fuck? He had his way with me. I couldn't fight back. It was totally a surreal experience. I didn't even feel a thing. Well, yeah, you're on Demerol. He finished up, laid back down next to me, and I fell asleep. I woke up alone and didn't know for sure if I had dreamed it or if it had really happened. When I looked down at my body, I saw that the catheter had indeed been ripped out, and there was a little blood on the sheet. I never spoke to him about it, never mentioned it to anyone. I was too freaked out. Here was this guy who told me I was too bagger ugly, and that he wanted to puke every time we had sex, which was rare anyway. He had lost control of me long ago, resented me for throwing him out of my house and my life, and that I had given him a nice meal ticket and a good lifestyle. This was his way of punishing me. The funny thing was, I didn't even feel it. It was as if he was screwing a dead person. It's like narcolepsy. Super creepy. How bizarre that he found my situation arousing. Sick, sick, sick. He obviously felt something emotionally. He didn't feel anything physically because of the Demerol being IV. This just goes to show you that they only like sex with people who are half dead, skanks, strangers, one-offs, Craigslist or Backpage chicks, vulnerable women they meet online for cyber sex, or their newest source, only long enough to seduce her into believing he loves her. As soon as she lets him into her life, he discards her, rejects her, and treats her like she's unattractive. It's their playbook to a T. They are also capable of seducing your daughters, friends, or sisters, if possible. They're predators, and we're the prey. Don't get too drunk, drugged, vulnerable, desperate, or in any way under their power. Don't let them into your hospital room. Thanks for all you do, Ollie. Be well. No, that's horrible. But a guy like him is a predator. But it's almost like he's only addicted to the hunt. He just wants to hunt. And once he's convinced he has you, he loses all interest. He loses all interest. And you see, he lost control when you kicked him out of the house and you wouldn't file for divorce. And it's that anger and that rage that, like, because shit like this, like rape, isn't about sex. It's about control. It's about violence and control. So being the predator that he was, and you almost being now, again, fresh prey, him lurking into your room, basically you're a wounded deer. So he took advantage of you the best way he could for power and control. That's how that works. That's why he did it. It had nothing to do with sexual. It wasn't the sexuality that turned him on or off. It was your vulnerability. And his opportunity for power in that moment. Power you had been depriving him of when you had thrown him out of the house. He thought he already had you under control, calling you a brown bagger and your looks, and he wasn't expecting to get tossed out the way he did. And that was his complete loss of control. So that's why he came in finding you vulnerable as the predator that he was. Took advantage of you the best way he knew how. And there you have it. I'm very sorry that happened to you. But to say that you felt nothing is only physical pain. It doesn't talk about the emotional trauma you obviously suffered. So, thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your story. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any advice or opinions in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover or a narcissist you'd like to expose, you know what to do with my email and the PayPal link in the description box. I'll have the video right back to you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon. Bye.